How varied are historical and modern socialist experiments? Imagine trying to build a house with many different blueprints, each one shaped by the time, place, and goals of its creators. That's how socialist experiments have looked across history and today. They come in all shapes and sizes, from tiny communities to entire countries. Some aimed for quick change, others for gradual reform. The core idea is to replace private ownership with collective or public control, but how they go about it varies a lot. In the early 1800s, some groups tried creating small, self-sufficient communities. Robert Owen's New Harmony in Indiana is a good example. It was a cooperative town where money was replaced by labor tickets, and everyone shared resources. But internal disagreements and the difficulty of keeping those ideals alive meant it only lasted a few years. These communities showed that people could live and work together, but they also faced big challenges. Later, in the late 1800s and early 1900s, some cities experimented with socialist ideas within existing capitalist systems. Milwaukee in the United States is a notable example. Local leaders focused on improving public services, fighting corruption, and raising workers' living standards. They used pragmatic policies like better sanitation, public health programs, and improved working conditions. These efforts proved that socialist policies could work on a city level without causing chaos. In Vienna, Austria, from 1918 to 1930, for the Social Democratic Workers' Party governed and built hundreds of thousands of public housing units. These homes had communal laundries, clinics, and libraries. This urban experiment combined socialist ideals with practical reforms that made life better for many workers. But it was limited to the city, and political changes eventually ended the project. Moving into the 20th century, some countries tried building socialism on a national scale after revolutions. The Soviet Union, China, Vietnam, and Cuba nationalized industries, collectivized farms, and planned their economies centrally. They aimed to industrialize rapidly and eliminate class differences. While they made progress in some areas, they also faced problems like shortages, inefficiency, and political repression. Some of these nations later introduced market reforms, but others stayed with strict state control. In democratic countries, socialist ideas influenced policies without completely replacing capitalism. The United Kingdom nationalized key industries after World War II, and India adopted a socialist development model for decades. Over time, many shifted toward more market-based policies, but social welfare programs and public ownership still remained as parts of their economies. Transitioning to socialism has taken many paths. Some movements won elections and gradually introduced reforms. Others aimed for revolutionary change, overthrowing governments to establish socialist states. Building the infrastructure for collective ownership, involving the people in decision-making, and balancing central planning with local needs have all been part of these efforts. Terms like mixed economy, which combines private and public businesses, nationalization, where private assets become public, and collectivization, which merges farms or businesses into collective units, are important to understand these experiments. Each approach reflects a different way to move towards socialist goals. The variety in these efforts shows how different historical conditions, political systems, and economic stages shape socialist experiments. Some focused on small communities, others on entire nations. Many succeeded in improving public services and reducing inequality, but challenges like economic inefficiency and political conflicts also appeared. No single model has been perfect, but each experiment offers lessons for future efforts. They reveal that moving towards socialism is a complex process that depends on local conditions, democratic participation, and economic realities.